this world, changing your mindset.
The phrase, youths are the leaders of tomorrow, has widely been contested in Africa. So many people said, are they actually the youth that is the leader of tomorrow? But no matter how you look at it, youths are actually the leaders of tomorrow. Good to have you on another edition of your weekly TV talk show, Be This World. It's my pleasure to have you join us this week. A quick break, and I'll be right back. Don't get away. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Be This World. And today on the show, we'll be discussing the just signed to law, not too young to run bill by the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria. And to join me to discuss this topic today is no other person than Barrister CHUKWUMA EZEALA, legal practitioner. He is the chairman, Imo Progressive Lawyers Association. My barrister, good to have you on Be This World show.
Thank you for inviting me.
My learned friend. Now, when you say the chairman, Imo Progressive Lawyers Association, when you talk about Imo State in southeast of Nigeria, Imo State has been one of those states that, if you ask me, we might say has been unlucky with governance. So this Lawyers Association, what is the aim?
The aim of the association is to see how the much we can contribute to put Imo to the path of progress, to the path of leadership. As a matter of fact, without arguing so much about it, you will see that when you look at examinations in Nigeria, from the common entrance examination to NECO, SSCE examination to JAMB, you see that Imo has always been coming first or even first third in the country. That means it has an availability of brains and brilliant people. Unfortunately, when you now come to governance, you see that it's not even among the first 5.
Not even among the first 10.
Okay, so but at least it's not. Yeah. And then why the problem? I think it's because there is no deep thought on what governance should be in Imo State. We have always chosen from the least people to rule Imo State, and that is why Imo State is having that problem. So a lot of associations are now coming up, a lot of NGOs, the lawyers said they must have a talk on who should be
to redeem or to rescue Imo. Well, somebody once said that it's because Imos are not selfless in nature. They actually, most of them think about self, not about what to give to the society. Money rules in Imo.
No, you know, you just mentioned to redeem or to rescue. I think we have gone beyond rescuing because we've done so bad that we now need redemption. So we need to redeem Imo. So that's a better word to say. You know, when Christ came into the world, he came to redeem the people. Man had fallen down below what we would expect.
It's okay, my barrister. Back to our topic for today. Not too young to run bill that has recently been signed into law by the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, has been trending in our society today. Now, you will agree with me that that law was actually pushed by a serving legislator, not actually motivated by the youths. And one would say, is our youths, are they actually ready for this?
Unfortunately, we have a failing society. You wouldn't say the youths are really ready. We wouldn't say, yes, if we say the youths are really ready, why do we still have 80-year-old people, 70-year-old people ruling? When you know that they are less than 10%, they are even less than 3% of the population of Nigeria.
And because they are not giving them opportunity.
You don't need, you see, I remember the late Ikemba, you know, Dimod Megoju, who said, you don't request for power, you negotiate people out of power. So the youth should be able to negotiate the old people out of power. If you ask them to renegotiate, who gives, I mean, nothing is served a la carte, you know, nobody will give you anything on a platter of gold. You have to take it. You have to come determined to take it, and you take it.
Are you now confirming what our past president said is a do or die affair? Is it that kind of taking you mean?
No, it's not a do or die affair. What I am saying is democracy is a game of numbers.
Yes.
That is one. Even the people that they use as thugs are the youths. Why would a youth decide to become a thug to a 70-year-old person or 60-year-old person instead of being a thug for his own mates? So that you now have people who can think for the country. If you give power to somebody who is 60, 70 or 80, the person is no longer thinking of any other thing before. But if you give power to somebody who is 30,
you represent your interest.
He knows that he is looking, he has 30, 40 years more to live.
Yeah.
So he is not just representing your interest, he's representing his own interest. So I think the youth should really be available. And I think those people that serve as thugs for all these people should stop and know that they are destroying their own future. So the youth, I think, should come up. Even in anything we do, you go to Town Union Association, you don't see them. In my Town Union Association, they were saying they want to form youth association, and they had a 45-year-old person to become the chairman of the youth association. I told them, what do you mean? How can a 45-year-old person become chairman of youth organization in a town union? And I told them it has to be a 20-year-old person or 25-year-old. Anybody above 30 should not be called a youth. And this is where we are. You see them there now, many of them are just wearing what's up, trying to sag. It's very unfortunate. But then, if you say that the older generation made them not to be responsible, I may agree with you, because some of the fathers and mothers, they continue pampering them, wearing them pampers even at the age of 18. And that is the problem. At the age of 18, any youth should be able to take up responsibility. From 13, the type of training we give our youths is also a dysfunctional system of education. Do you know that there are some people that are graduates that cannot cross the road? Yes.
As in walk
across the road when vehicles are passing, because he or she doesn't know how to avoid the vehicle and cross the road, because they ferry him or her about. It's going to school, it's going to the university.
It's being driven. You know. Most people don't even know their way.
They don't know their way. And this is the society we have come to. Nobody walks about, and we have enthroned so much insecurity around that people are even scared having their children or their ward or the youth move about.
Now, but immediately this law has been signed in, you find out that even the people in power has been positioning their own sons, their own children.
Yes.
Do you understand? It still boils down to the power recycling in our society.
Yes.
So there are still the youths who will still take up power, because when you talk about youths not too young to run bill signing into power, it becomes a problem when a youth who don't have the fund only to get a party form in Nigeria. You know how much it costs to fund a campaign in this country. You know how much it's cost. How many youths even have that kind of fund?
No, I think yes, the funds are not easily available. Yes, we agree. Government should be able to do so. All the youth should be able to, when they take over, they can influence this. I mean, if, for instance, the political parties are saying bring 5 million naira, bring 500,000 naira to contest. If youths take over, which they can, one of them can easily, they can even actually contribute the money for one person who actually has a purpose. Because what you're doing is a contest to take over. They shouldn't be scared with what the fathers, or I don't know whether to say what some of us have put, the bridges, I mean, what people
the
are
bridges
doing,
you have built.
Yes, we have put a lot of things in place not to allow them to come in. So what stops them from, if you have youth and they decide to contribute for themselves 1,000 naira and pay for the form and vote for themselves and get as chairman of these parties and become national chairman of the major political parties, they will come back and crash those fees, and they will take over power and crash the fees. But then they must also not go the way of the older people, because some of the people that became youths, I mean, some of the governors today are less than 40 years, and we can't see anything they are doing in some of the states. So where do you go? Some of them that are in the National Assembly, what are they doing? They are talks in the National Assembly. It is a problem, and it is a system problem. But what do you look at? These are not actually representatives of the youths. So we shouldn't really say, oh, everything is lost. the people that you see that are youths that are there are not real representatives of the youth. They are the people imposed by the old people who do not want Nigeria to move ahead. So I think the youths, we have a lot of vibrant youth. We have a lot of youths that are doing very well. You go to UK, you go to United States, you go to all parts of the world, you see a lot of Nigerian youths who are doing very, very well. And in Nigeria, you have a lot of Nigerian youths who are doing very well in the industries, in the banking industry, in the oil industry, and in many other places you see a lot of youths. But those ones who may not be given opportunity, what they do is to go and pick the bad ones, the 419 ones among us.
But why is it so?
Among us. Because the ones that are doing well do not want to get involved. And when they get involved, the other people whose mentality has been warped will not allow them to be in. So it is a time of total engagement of the youth to understand that in France today, the president of France, you can see is a youth.
40, yeah.
A young man, president of France. France is a world power. And Obama, how old was he when he became president, including Clinton in America? You know. So you see that if we are able to take over, you will see what the young man in France will do, even though the old people are trying to
frustrate his efforts, yeah.
But you will see what he will finally do.
I like what you said there. If you go to other countries, you see Nigerian youths doing well. It's like being good, doing well is a trait in our society. Do you understand? We have a lot of youths who are actually doing well, who can take over power in this country and turn things around for our own good. But they will not give them chance. Rather, they will give opportunity to those ones who are not doing well. Why is this so in our society? Why are we fond of that?
Yes, it is so because, like I still say, many of the youths have not taken the decision to step out. You know, when you talk of maybe in a dinner, you know, either you're part of those that will eat the menu or you're part of the menu itself that will be eaten.
Please explain that to your adage. That's a different one. That's a different one.
Yes, if they say there is a dinner is served.
Yeah.
There are two groups of people. Those that are going to eat the dinner and those that are going to be eaten in the dinner. And unfortunately, the greater number of people are eating inside the dinner. So what you need to do is to step out of the menu. You don't be part of the menu. You become part of those that are going to take the menu. So I think the youths, we need to start at the secondary school level, at the university level. We need to start working out how would they come out to serve, how would they galvanize, how can we contribute. I mean, Obama gave us a good example. Even if you don't have money should not be an issue. Show that you can do something and let the youth start looking at what were you able to do. Obama was able to show that as a legislator he did very well, that he carried people along and he didn't embezzle money, he didn't do, and that is his character. That was why people were able, he raised the highest money in campaign in the United States of America, and he was the poorest person, I mean, in terms of the poorest person who contested for the presidency of the United States of America. And why do you think it can't be replicated in Nigeria? All you need to do is to show, I have done this, and I have done this selflessly. And secondly, the media need to, because in America also the media was able to help him because they found out that this is a young man who would want to do something. But here in Nigeria too, you don't see the media assisting, you don't see the various pressure groups assisting the youth. But the youth need to show us what he has done. Not the type of youth we have today serving in government. Many of them were just picked from where they were playing, or were picked because they were taught. So we need to look at it. The youths need to, what we are talking about, how many youths will be watching it? How many youths watch programs that are educative? The programs they watch will be, I mean, if they are not watching football, they are watching music, you know, they are watching, these are all the things that are youths. The group that don't watch these things will be there smoking hemp and then going into drugs.
And then how did we get to this stage? And before you answer that question, let's go for a quick break. And when we return, we'll continue. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
On the beat, on the song, my brother, God can bless anybody. Make you no look down on anybody. As you see by power, oh. No be by sense, yo. Nobody special pass. My sister, God can bless anybody. Make you no look down on anybody. As you see me so, no be by power, oh. No be by sense, yo. Nobody special pass. Shebi na God will bless me higher. Seven God na lift me higher. Nobody believe say kukere go blow me higher. We know the tire, and the work we they do will bring the rubber. Then tell me so many no, but I know they ginger me oh, and I know they give up to you. Oh God, if nobody encourage you, encourage yourself. Oh. That's why I said kerosene, even say coconut. You know, so many they underrate. Ele do my elevate. Baba shame all of them when they hate. My brother, God can bless anybody. Make you no look down on anybody. As you see me so, no be by power, oh. No be by sense, oh.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is BD's World, and my guest has been Barrister CHUKWUMA EZEALA, legal practitioner, chairman Imo Progressive Lawyers Association, and we've been discussing not too young to run bill that was presently signed into bill in our society. Now, my barrister, before we went on break, said, how did it actually got to the stage at which we are now with our youths?
Like I said, when the educational system got bad, from the mid-80s, military came in, they abandoned the education, the type of education became a crash program, the youths no longer exercise their freedom to form the students' union, students' union was banned. So the elementary area of raising people to become leaders was gone. And you know, when you have a system, when you're killing a system, you may not understand. The next thing was they clamped down. Clamped down also begot many called societies, you know. So the system, these are supposed to be leaders. That is the genesis of where the problem started. And then in other aspects of the area, you know, the school system, like I said, from secondary school, everything was going down. And insecurity came in. So with all these, the youths were no longer organized. Because where would they have been organized? They should have been organized in the universities. So when you have a students' union president or secretary, you see him coming out in the society to start mobilizing. You see him coming in to understand what should I do. So between 1967 to 1979, there was a complete system of militarization. Only the military who did not go to the universities to learn how to remember that the military were regimented people. You obey the last order, not that you campaign to win. And they were leaders between 1967 to 1979. So the leadership, the youths at that time were completely emasculated. It's only very few of them that were given appointments based on man, no man, not based on what they could do. So you can see a generation of people are gone. Now they came back in 1983. The youth now came back in 1983. That was when you have people like Emian Wood as minister. You have people like Pat Tommy as minister, and but then they were a few. The old ones that would have continued to retire did not retire. They came back in 1979. By 1983, because you had a preponderance of old people in the government, there was a problem. Another military came in and stultified the growth of the youth again from 1983 till 1999. And the old people from 1960 who felt they did not finish their work
keep on recycling.
So that is how a society dies. So they are still staying put because they felt they didn't serve their own people. Otherwise, there would have been a quiet handover. Transition. Handover. So this is the major problem that we have, but we cannot continue going to yesterday.
Exactly.
We must look at the future.
So how do we come out of this?
To look at the future simply means that all the people should rise up. All the youths everywhere, when people are 18 years, they know they can vote and should be able to be voted for. And that is why, I mean, if you talk about councillor, I mean, 18-year-old person should be a councillor. You know, he has finished secondary school, so why can't he be a councillor? And that is why the Not Too Young bill, you know, there is this controversy whether a law can, or an act can amend the provisions of the Constitution. But the National Assembly said they went through the constitutional provisions to amend the various sections of the Constitution. Previously, the people gave us, how would you say, somebody going to the House of Assembly will be 30 years, you know, somebody going for governor 40 years. I can tell you life stops at 40. Yes, life, I mean, life
No,
stops
they say life begins at 40.
Yes, life of going down to begins at 40.
Like that.
Going down to your creator, that's when the life. Because at that time, you start getting yourself ready.
Yeah.
You go back to your God,
Yeah.
you know. But really, from 25 to 40, you should be able to achieve whatever you want
Have come to achieve in this
yes,
life,
and
yeah.
then move on.
Yeah.
But because we made a mistake of thinking the life begins at 40. So we now say
think that we have enough time.
We now think we have enough time. So at 40, when you tell somebody slow down, the person says, no, life is just beginning. And when you look at life, when you look at your body, you see that from 35, the body is gradually winding
down. You don't have the energy
so
again.
There's no more energy.
Yeah.
That's why they retired them in football. By 33, how many of them are still playing football? That tells you that life has gone.
Right.
No team, no, I mean, mind you, would they go and get a player of 30 years? They will not. So this is the basic, and it's the same thing that is applicable everywhere. The people that are 40, 50, the people that are 50 should be advisors. They shouldn't be part of governance.
And another thing you said that the way I understand it in our society is that in our own way we intimidate our youth. Do you understand? We've killed the boldness and the courage in them. It actually affects them. So many of these youths who actually have something to offer, they are afraid. When you don't have a backbone, a godfather, what if I go out, what if I say this, nobody to stand for me? It becomes a problem. What do you think about this?
You know, as a matter of fact, you know, you mentioned at a particular time that what the old one want to do is to bring their children. I said, it's better they bring their children than themselves. You know, you settle for the lesser evil. Yes, it's a lesser evil to go for their children than to go. You know, in 1999, we have Lucky Benedium. They were young people. But when they left, who took over? Older people. Instead of getting to younger people
Generation,
more, you know, you have the Sarakis that took over at a particular time who were young. Ordinarily, we were thinking the younger people, let them retire. But the old ones also came back. There are some governors that are 65, 70.
But why is it that they don't want to retire?
They don't want, because the youth don't want to retire them. I said that nobody voluntarily quits power. It's never happened anywhere in the world. Nobody voluntarily quits power. You have to negotiate somebody out of power. And I'm telling you, George W. Bush Sr., did he not come for second tenure when he was gone into 80? And Clinton now told him, no. Clinton was for something. Contesting against 70-year-old, the man would always slump and, you know, in campaigns. And Clinton had good blood. And America said, no, let us go for this young man.
Is it a problem with us in Africa? It's a common thing in Africa. If you check other African nations.
Yes, but then Sierra Leone the other day now has given it to Liberia, you know. They are no longer going so much for the
older
very old generation, you know. But then, and even Kenya that we are talking about, yes, Kenya is still old people, but then not too old people that are in Kenya. So it's not, I mean, the people that are in Kenya were youths when the Kenyan independence came in, almost the same time Nigeria's own came in. But today we still have people who moved motions for the independence of Nigeria, still coming today as ministers and still coming today as, you know, people that should serve, people that entered the army before independence. And they are all there, insisting that they must be there.
It's okay, my barrister. It's been wonderful speaking with you. In all, what do you have to tell our youths today?
Yes, I will say that the youths should come back to take up what rightly belongs to them. The future belongs to the youths. Let them not be scared. Let them not go and be outside there and thereby becoming men themselves.
To be eaten.
That's what
they should be part of eating the menu.
Yes. But the old people should enter the dish so that the youth
they should eat.
Because the youths have the power, they have everything they should take to make those people menu and not they themselves. So that's my
Wow, Barrister CHUKWUMA EZEALA, it's been wonderful having you on BDSWORD show. We appreciate it a lot. Thank you so much. Wow, it's been wonderful speaking with Barrister CHUKWUMA EZEALA, legal practitioner, chairman Imo Progressive Lawyers Association, and we've been discussing Not Too Young to Run bill that was recently signed into law in Nigeria by President Federal Republic of Nigeria. And he has said it all, that Nigerian youths should negotiate for power because nobody will give you power for free. That Nigerian youth should actually stand up and take what belongs to them. Take it anyhow, just take it. Did I just say that? Don't mind me. That's what you'll be taking today on BDSWORD show. If you missed this interview, you can watch it online on www.bdsword.tv. That's what you'll be taking today on the show. Keep it there with us. Same time next week. Bye.